I'm Matt Fyror. I'm the game director on Elder Scrolls Online at ZeniMax Online Studios. That's a great question because this is the first Elder Scrolls game that's ever had multiple players in it. So, so ZeniMax and Bethesda started up this studio just to do multiplayer games. So everyone at ZeniMax Online is very much an online game developer. So a lot of us came from lots of big MMOs. Any big online game you could name, we have people that worked on it. So, but they realize it's different. So that's why it's a different studio that's making the game. It's more like, the way we look at it more is kind of an online RPG than MMO, because MMO doesn't mean much anymore because millions of games can be described as MMOs. But we really wanted to give the kind of that full Elder Scrolls experience with its. If you think of it in Skyrim and Oblivion, when you go into a town and you see NPCs walking around and everyone has a job, we wanted to do that, but with people doing the job. So we wanted people to be crafting, people to be selling things. So to do that, you had to go all the way to a giant, big open world. It's really hard to answer that because everyone has a different method for it. But Skyrim is one province of the game, and you saw how big Skyrim was. Morrowind, older Elder Scrolls game, was another province. So we have parts of all the provinces in our game. So it's a really big game. Hundreds of hours of content. There's a lot of stuff to do. So yeah, you choose one at the start. There's only 4, and really you don't have to use any part of your class's skills at all. So when you start the game, you have 15 skill lines to start with, and only 3 of them come from your class. All the rest are your weapons, armor, your race, and you can add more skill lines over time. So if you join the Mages Guild, you get Mages Guild skills. If you join the Fighters Guild, you get the Fighters Guild skills. So you can mix and match the skills however you want. Yeah, it wouldn't be an Elder Scrolls game without one big main quest line. So we do have that, which is solo. When you're doing that, you're in instances by yourself to give you that, kind of you are the hero feeling. But every alliance has a story, every zone has a story, so there's tons, just like Elder Scrolls games. You go anywhere and characters want to tell you things that are going on, and it's a lot of immersive storytelling. The next-gen console versions are primarily the same as the PC ones, and that's mostly because the next-gen consoles are so powerful. There are 2 big differences there, though. One is the controller. You're using a controller to play instead of the mouse and keyboard. And the other big difference is in communication, like you're talking to players with voice, and in PC, mostly you're typing to them. So, it's really the same game graphically, UI, it's very similar, except for those 2. Yeah, so actually we put a lot of emphasis because we know a lot of people playing this game will never have played an online RPG before, so because they come from the single-player Elder Scrolls game. So we made soft grouping happen all the time. So if I'm going across the world and I see another player having trouble fighting an enemy, I can go help the other player by killing the enemy, and we both get full credit for it. Like we both get full loot, we both get full experience because we want people to go and meet people in the game. Yes, we have a looking for group interface and things like that, but we really want players to meet each other like organically in the world. We made a lot of those decisions. Mostly it was because it's an Elder Scrolls game. So things like, it's an Elder Scrolls game, we want a very clean interface with not a lot of button bars. So we don't want to do old previous gen MMO where there's 45 buttons on the screen, and but that came around mostly because we really want the player to feel like they're playing an Elder Scrolls game when they sit down and play it. And if you have a giant interface on the screen, it just doesn't feel like it. Yeah, the thing that really sets us apart, I think, is we're an Elder Scrolls game. And it's not just the words Elder Scrolls. I mean, you can put that in front of anything. But it's really that we really want the player to feel like it's an Elder Scrolls game. And that's a different feel than a traditional MMO. It's like you sit down, the combat system's different. It's with the mouse primarily, and it's a lot of reacting to the creature that you're fighting. It's moving around a lot. It's not locking you in place when you're in combat. You can run around and fight and cast spells all you want. So all of those things add up to thinking it feels much more like Skyrim or like Oblivion than it does like an MMO, and that's a huge difference for gamers. They'll feel it the minute they sit down and play it. The Elder Scrolls Online will be released in spring 2014 on PC, Mac, and both next-gen consoles.